Wake up, buyer payer people. It's a beautiful day. Go grab yourself another cup of joe and say hello to Jim and Michelle Rhoads on the Buy Here Pay Here Morning Show. Take it away, you two.
Well, hi.
Hey, who's out there?
Good morning.
Monday.
Or it is Monday.
Monday.
It's Monday,
Unsure of it. I
and
double-checked,
it's Monday, and it's a big week for everything that we're getting ready to do,
Yeah, big events this week.
Super excited about it. Go ahead and if you want to shout out where you're coming from. I wanted to share something with y'all. You ready?
I feel ready.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to do this, and we're going to do this, and I'm going to do this. This was taken this morning.
I sure am noisy when I shovel. That's me. For those who didn't see it on Facebook, that's this morning. That's yesterday's.
This is just since we went to bed last night.
This is her talking.
This,
Say what?
yeah. Yeah. So yes, and we have
This is just last night.
yeah. So yeah, isn't that cool? That's so not cool.
Michelle says, "Let's move to Utah. It'll be fun." Let's wait till it.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm turning that off. So
Could you guys hear that video?
I hope you could. I hope that y'all. I haven't seen anyone pipe in yet this morning, but we lived in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
We don't.
Hey, Daryl. We don't want to hear about your morning temperature. No, I talked to George Montemayor yesterday. It was 70 degrees in Phoenix area, right. So we know.
And I know that everyone we talk about the weather. That's a big thing for us. It really is. It's like having. It
won't be for me for the next 3 days because I'm not leaving the house. So.
Well, Jim asked me this morning. He says, "So do we have sufficient soup and chili, stew? All of the warm weather, whatever stuff that you have to partake in when it's cold outside." So this week we have our event coming up on Thursday, and it's still not too late to get your tickets. Just understand that there's a lot of really great people that are going to be a part of this, and it's not going to be broadcast on our regular social channels. The first session will be broadcast, and then if you want to be able to watch any of the rest of it, you're going to need to get in and get registered for a ticket for that. So it's still not too late to get one. And
I'm finding that a lot of people just are not understanding what the event is. Like they just, I mean, even our participants are asking questions. I realized they don't really quite. So it's on us. We should have explained better. But bottom line, there's still time to get in. If you need a coupon code to get in and watch the thing. Let us know. Reach out to us. We've got a handful of coupon codes out there we can round up for you. But then the event is all virtual. And so you can watch it from anywhere you are. In fact, initially we thought we were going to have a handful of our guests in the studio with us. They're not even going to be there. We're just going to be in the studio broadcasting the thing, bringing in all the people virtually. And so,
except for you and I and Dave.
And Dave Murray will be there.
It's kind of what we're thinking. We may have one or two. Scott Shamrell may show up.
That's right.
Because he's like pretty close, and Neo is one of our big sponsors.
We just hope we're going to be able to. We might have to get snowmobiles to get down there to the studio. So
I think we're going to get a hotel down in Salt Lake so we can get down there.
It's a little nuts. Anyway.
Also, Wednesday for White Hat Wednesday, we have a special guest.
Oh yeah, Jacob Clementowski from Sarasota, Florida, will be with us.
If you know Jacob, he's a treat.
Yeah,
he really is. Just such a great guy and such a great story.
Beautiful family. And so what we're going to be talking about will kind of tie into the whole family thing and his business. And so, and it all ties into what we're doing on the Thursday event as well. But yeah, it's, I look forward to that. But yeah, our event, just to be aware, it's all virtual. You can do it. You can see it from your laptop. And if you can't be there to see it all live on Thursday, you just got to be registered so you can see it afterwards.
Yeah. So George Thompson, good morning. George Spat. How do you shovel 10 inches of sunshine?
Yeah. Way to go, George. Way to go. That's what I like to hear.
Oh, absolutely. So anything else we need to announce
No,
before
not
we
for
get
that.
started?
No, like I said,
Okay.
just reach out to us for coupon codes. Let's get you in there. You're gonna
Mhm.
regret it if you miss this thing. It's gonna
It's
be
going to be
important.
really good.
Just for dealers. Just for dealers.
Just for dealers. Yeah.
Yep.
So it's not something that you want to have your controller or
Yeah,
collection
those
manager.
folks shouldn't be
or
there. We're going to be
anything.
talking bad about them. They
No,
shouldn't
we
be there.
won't. But it's about things that a dealer should be having his finger on the pulse of, and might be able. We'll have some takeaways that they'll be able to go in and initiate some things in their dealerships.
Right. Shall we get to our project or
our project
topic for the
our
day?
topic, and it is a
It
project,
is a
and
project.
it's something that we actually this whole concept was born 2 years ago during a brainstorming session that Jim and I had.
Mhm.
And we if you all could see, well, you can kind of see some of the
Yeah,
stuff
some of the mapping.
that when we are putting things together, we map out. But this was something that was it was born, but not really it wasn't time
Mhm.
to make it a thing that's public, and we're doing this, and we're
Yeah.
moving forward with it.
But it kind
about
of fits
2
with
years
everything
ago.
that we're doing
Yeah.
with Nation TV.
Mhm.
And, after Thursday, we're going to need a new project. So we got lots more events on the horizon, but we do want to take this on. It just kind of, it's really just come to the forefront of my mind. I said, I got to do this. Like, this is just something that has
Yeah.
been kind of gnawing at me for a long time.
Well, yeah.
And now we're in a position to do it. And I just want to be clear, when we talk about these, we called it dealer action committees. And I already said out there, Tyler Simmons got the comment, like, I said,
We're gonna.
maybe we
I think we're gonna call
them-
it forum.
Yeah, forum
Yeah.
instead of committee. So change that after the graphics had already gone out. But we'll call it dealer forum, because it's not the kind of committee where people would show up and have to stay in and have responsibility for the next meeting.
It's just
not
we
that.
just want input and insight and all of that. And so
The first topic that I'm choosing to take on is about DMS reports. So let's back up and make sure we understand what dealer action committee is. This is about taking action on it's going to start with my own to-do list, which is on behalf of dealers. Like, it's
Jim's been a dealer, and I mean, like, really, when we see things come down the pipe from other vendors or from associations and all of that, that's usually the first thing that he filters whatever information through through the eyes of a dealer. What does this mean?
Yeah. Somewhere back around December 2019, January that next year, I recorded a video because I was really worked up. I was doing a lot of data work, and I recorded a video and put it out there. And
Well, you did an article first, and then you did a video.
Yeah,
The article kind of got you, like,
Oh,
hey,
I forgot about that part.
we can't publish this.
Yeah. So I sent in an
'Cause
article.
it's just a
saying,
little
this
bit
is-
too-
This is a little too aggressive, and I don't need to share why they wouldn't participate, and those folks are no longer there anyway. But the thing is, they said, we can't publish that. That's a little too much. It flies in the face of our would-be sponsors, or our current sponsors. And I thought, well, I'm really just looking to solve some problems on behalf of dealers. So that's what this dealer action forum is about.
Yeah.
It's going to be totally transparent. We're going to show you what transparency looks like. I mean, it's going to be live. It's going to be broadcast.
Let's talk for just a second, if we can,
Yeah.
and let's talk about transparency. One of the things, and I'll throw on here and this is typically a White Hat Way thing. And we've decided that I mean, White Hat Way really is going to be just kind of like woven into all of the things that we do, sometimes a little stronger, but it's like going to be foundational pieces. And so transparency is one of the defining attributes for the White Hat Way. And being transparent. So tell me what you think transparency means.
Well, so we're going to host this event. We've already chosen it. We're about to push it out to the social platforms. So basically, it's a live forum. Everybody's invited. Dealer, vendor, association folks, you're all invited. It's going to be as public as it gets. It's going to be out there. You can watch it from Bangladesh. So it's going to be that kind of transparency. And I'm just going to lead the conversation, and I'm picking the first two topics, and I'm going to ask dealers, don't you agree that this is a problem in our industry? Wouldn't this be a good thing for us to solve? And let's focus on a solution here. And then we're not trying to do this. I'm not trying to do this apart from or in place of NIADA as an example. I'm doing it
in
I'm
conjunction.
just sort of doing it in front of,
Yeah.
on behalf of dealers and NIADA, because I'm in a position to see it. Like, I just think my particular vantage point on this industry is something that I recognize few people have. Like, I don't know how many people currently have access to multiple different DMS systems because of the work that we do with data systems. We get in the software, we do, and I've been doing this for years. Like, I've been inside, as a registered user,
Multiple.
and with reporting access, at least, to multiple, most of the main DMS providers that we would know in the BHPH space. So because of that perspective, and because often I'm trying to produce performance reports for my client as part of a consulting engagement, I'm trying to see their numbers. I'm trying to help them see their numbers. And I find it really frustrating that it's so hard to get some of these key numbers that are so fundamental to our business. And so I'm just choosing a first couple of reports that I would want. And we'll work on this. I'll present it in the forum. I will say, do we like it? If we like it, are we willing to sign, a sort of a petition, if you will, that will then go to NIADA, and we'll ask NIADA to, ratify and push that on to the DMS providers,
yeah.
as something that dealers agree that is something of value.
Well,
that they need.
I remember, and this actually ties into the event on Thursday as well. When you did the podcast with Brent Carmichael and
Ken
Shilson, thank you. I could picture him. It's like, it's that time of the morning. When you did the podcast, the third one was with Mark Burkholder. This is one of the ones with Ken, and because Ken is like the godfather of data in the industry. And you were talking about, what can we do to create better value for dealers? One of the things is if there was a consistent standard for a lot of and that was something that was talked about.
That would help dealers have value. I think that's kind of utopian. Like, I don't, that for us to have all the DMS providers be the same, or to have that kind of consistency.
It's not necessarily the same, but it's like we've been talking to Amanda Sanchez too, and she wants to have a chart of accounts it's like, let's do this and it's consistent, so that everyone in the industry, if people can just kind of get on board with this chart of accounts, that's going to help across the board in the industry. And so what we're asking for is because it will help. It will help a dealer to be more valuable in the industry with their insights and their, all of that, just for the chart of accounts.
Yeah.
And if we can other reporting, if we can do the same thing, and it's not really that hard of
no, this is a super easy fix. I'm sorry, the DMS providers, we love you. We need you. We value what you provide to us. We're just simply saying this is something that, and it's not aimed at any one provider. It's just like, as DMS providers across the industry, there are some things that buy here, pay here dealers just should have. Now, we understand there's going to be deviation in business practices. There's going to be deviation in business models. Everyone's software is going to be different than the rest. However, I would say that let's pick this first one. The first one I picked is what I've called for the longest time a principal activity report, or like a principal reconciliation. Imagine right now if a dealer could walk to their software and run a report for the month of February that said your principal balance, and you could check the box with, you want this buy here, pay here, or in-house contracts only, or you want all principal. And because some systems pollute the buy here, pay here principle,
which has been such a frustration for him when he's like, it's not.
Sold a car for cash, $5,000, and it washes through your principal, and it looks like you collected some money from a customer. And it's just, you got to filter all that stuff, and it's just it's unbelievably unnecessary in 2023 that we're still doing that kind of stuff. So this is the kind of stuff that I want to go to work on behalf of dealers and behalf of NIDA. In a way, we're going to basically say, look, we're going to gather up the dealers. I'm going to pick the topics that I see first, that I see as the biggest, like the lowest hanging fruit,
Mhm.
simple fix, and as an example of how let's start getting some solutions. Let's start getting some, we
Mhm.
don't have to keep having the same conversation. People who work with me in consulting know I don't like having the same conversations, 4 weeks and 4 months
Yep.
later, like, let's
Yep.
fix this stuff. And
Yeah.
so this is where I'm coming from. And this is why we want to call it, it's an action forum. This is about deciding what we're going to take
Mhm.
action on. We're going to ask NIDA then once we adopt something and sign a petition of sorts, then we're going to pass it on through to NIDA and ask them to notify the providers that we've requested this. Now I'm happy for it to bear NIDA's name in the end. I'm not like, I don't care who gets the credit. I'm just saying, I want that problem to be solved for dealers. So that's an example. My principles for the month, let's look at what an in-house report looks like. We had this many contracts. We had this many reverse contracts. We had this many collected principal. We had this much charge off principal. We had these other adjustments, and our closing principal was this. And I'm sorry, if you're a DMS provider in 2023, that should be a super simple. And now, whether I'm wanting for performance reports, which is what we do, or an accounting, they have their own trial balances and things that they work from, but that should still work the same. Like, that's the largest asset in the business. It's also a security element for me. So another reason I'm picking this one first is like, this is it's a great opportunity for us to identify leakage in our buy here, pay here businesses. And I can't understand why anybody wouldn't want to help us make that happen. And so this is where I'm saying, we don't have to just keep living with these problems. Let's get started fixing them.
And I'm like the one that is just kind of always listening to what conversations are happening in social. And Jim does too, and he weighs in on some of them, but it's like I just will just peruse all the different social channels that we're in, and just read the things and see what people are struggling with, and the questions and all of that, and kind of I try to keep a pulse on, is like, here's something that is consistently griped about.
Yeah.
Here's another thing that's it's consistent, and we've talked to a lot of dealers, and some of this reporting is a gripe that I see every once in a while come up, but I think that most dealers feel defeated because they can't get it fixed. So what's the point in really griping about it?
Or
It
the
just-
DMS provider sort of behaves like, look, all the data is there. We export all the data. Well, most buy here, pay here dealers are not super sophisticated Excel operators, or, the data's there, but to assemble it in something meaningful is far too difficult with most of the systems. And I'm just simply saying, we just know there are going to be plenty of items for us to take on. We're just going to take on one at a time. I'm just going to say, we're going to pick this one. We're going to get to a place where we feel like we can ratify and sign a petition, and we're going to pass it on through, and then we'll follow through on it and make sure where it ends up. And we will report as the results come in that say, hey, DMS provider number one has fulfilled that. It's now available in your system. That's great news.
Yeah.
And so we'll just continue to announce the ones that, have fulfilled it and have made that, because to me, it's just like, this is where I think there's just a bit of a disconnect. I just think, and it just frustrates me to no end. Like, this is a difficult business buy here, pay here that we're in. And it's getting more difficult. Like, we're headed into a time now where cost car is such that it's getting more difficult. So this is all the more reason for us to go out there and fix this stuff. And let's at least make the reporting. We start there, make the reporting. And I've got another one behind this that is like, it just baffles me that we're this far into buy here, pay here software industry, and we don't have some of these things out there. So, it might help that I was a manager in a dealership myself, managing one for about 2.5 years before I stepped into consulting. And the consulting company I was with also had a software division. So I worked on reporting as in the training consulting division and in cooperation with our software division. So that dates back to 2000 for me. Like, this stuff is not new for me. It just baffles me.
And then when you had your own dealership, and then, as a consultant, kind of stepped into management again for a while as a consultant manager. And so, Jim, and that's different types of software that you've been able to work with through. And it is, I appreciate that it is a very unique perspective of a dealer, the dealer eyes
Yeah.
in lots of
Well,
different kinds of
it's
software.
both. It's the,
Or
I've
lots of
been,
different
I've been a consultant
DMSs.
advisor. I've been in
Mhm.
dealerships. I see what they deal with. We obviously talk to a lot of dealers.
Mhm.
I've been an analyst. So I'm a bit of a numbers guy, spreadsheet guy, and something of an analyst. Like we're
Mhm.
performing analytics for clients and helping them create these rolling 12s and projections and this and that. So we do that kind of work. So it does give me a unique look at the thing. And I can just tell you, getting to these, what are to me the most fundamental numbers. Like if I'm a buy here, pay here dealer, I should be able to walk in on March 1st and run that report. Bam, spits it out in a summary form or detail, whichever I choose.
Mhm.
But summary form, it should tell me your principal in the portfolio moved from here to here in the month of February. And here's the transactions or the summary, the line items that impacted that shift.
And I'll have to say though, we've had this conversation, something similar with different DMS providers. As you know, Jim has stepped into a consulting gig, and so we're in contact with the DMS provider and say we need this. They're like, oh, it's this right here, and runs it and shows it, and it's
Okay.
like, no, you still have this and this and this in here, and it's like we're not getting to true numbers
Or it's
about.
just stuff is
And
approximated. Like there's
uh-huh,
some
yeah.
reports that we're going to
And
get.
so
They're just using.
there are some things like for one of the things is like removing tax payments.
Yeah.
And so many times he's having to sit there and go, okay, the tax rate, da 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 da, da, and I have to remove this and da da, because that will get you to the number, because tax collected is not principal.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it happens.
I mean,
Just stuff like that.
technically it's principal. I mean, I know Amanda or some of the CPAs are over there saying, yeah, it's technically in your amount finance, but what we're really trying to measure, we're really trying to measure the, first and foremost, recognizing that dealers' portfolios of contracts is typically the largest asset in their business.
Mhm.
They need to know how well it's performing, how well it's producing cash. So there are some key metrics which we
Mhm.
urge them to watch, some short term, some longer term, but they have to be able to get to that data. And it's not easy to get to that data, which you've seen me just go through, ibuprofen trying to get to the bottom of this problem. And it's like, it's ridiculous.
And sometimes it's like, it feels like it's days
It's,
of back and forth. And it's like,
yeah.
we're not communicating to where you're understanding what it is that I need.
Yeah.
And so, this is
And
something
so
that
I just think we want to be as clear as possible. This is an
Mhm.
opportunity for us. And I'm just asking dealers, look, we don't have to be mad. As I said in kind of some of the description of the
Mhm.
event that we're about to push, this is not going to be a bitch fest.
Mm-mm.
There's not going to be a lot of bitching. There's not going to be a lot of politics. We're just going to be in there identifying the problem,
Mhm.
agreeing on a solution, ratifying that in the form of a petition and passing it on through to NIEDA and working with them to make sure that the DMS providers get notified that this is something that we see as a problem and we see it as a fixable problem. And so we're counting on you working with us to get it fixed. And so,
Mhm.
so this is just like, it just to me is like, I'm just there. Like, it's just time to move on this stuff. And so I hope dealers, vendors, you're all welcome to join the conversation when we go live on this thing. We're using our webinar platform that allows plenty of people to come in there and participate. We set the date. We put it for a week from Thursday,
Mhm.
same time slot as we do the morning show. So that'll be
It'll be
11
morning.
Eastern on
Mhm.
Thursday. I think the date was the 4th. But you'll see it in the
Mhm.
platforms where you can see the event that's coming up.
And
So please join
let
for
us know, because if that's going to be a really big problem, we may do an evening one
Yeah,
in
yeah,
addition
we'll see.
to or
We'll see.
something. So
Yeah.
it's just like, let's just get as many people after we get it created. You will probably see it on social. It's like, take a look at this. If you weren't able to participate, but you can put your name behind this,
Mhm.
please make sure that you add your name as like, yes, this is something that I want. Because I think that when we get enough dealers, it's this when people realize that individually we may not feel like we can get anywhere. It's like, well, this is the way it is. But when we collectively come together for a problem that needs to be solved, when we collectively come together to solve that problem, it's like, we know what we need and this is what we need. And we're asking you to help us get
Right.
what we need. And then let's watch that's actually going to carry a lot more weight
Mhm.
with the different providers, because when it's a single person come in and it's like, we don't have the time, we don't have the bandwidth, we don't have the staff or whatever. But when you come and you say there are 300 people or whatever it is that have, this is a problem, we want this fixed, this goes to a DMS, and you'll start to see their we called it roadmap shift and get some things done.
Yeah.
So I think we have the ability to do that collectively.
Yeah. Yeah. We want this to be collective. I mean, like I said, I have my own ideas but I want to make sure that dealers see the same things I see. And so we're going to be asking dealers, would this be a nice solution for you? And so just
and this dealer forum is a buy here, pay here nation forum. That is where it's like, that's the foundational piece. It's not Octane Group. It's not the morning show. It's not all of this is a buy here, pay here nation. It's like this is the nation of buy here, pay here dealers that are saying, hey, we need to have this fixed.
Yep.
Hey, we want to make this better.
So please join us, add your voice. We're going to be marching ahead and fixing this stuff. And so we want all the experienced dealers to join in there with us, because after that one, I'm taking on charge offs and how we
That's
track.
another one that you get so frustrated on.
I can't believe I asked for that of my DMS provider in 2005, and I've yet to see it in the form that I have suggested in any of the DMS systems. So we'll be taking that one on second. And then we'll just get feedback from the group on, which things that they feel like are the greatest opportunity. And we're just going to, like I said, we're not going to pick on the ones who don't have it. We're just going to mention the ones who add it as a feature. And I think going forward, it can be among the ways that we can, new dealers can separate providers in terms of, how responsive they are to really satisfying the needs of the typical dealer.
Absolutely.
So, and what I'm talking about is going to be of value to a brand new dealer or a multi-million-dollar portfolio dealer. This is all stuff that a dealer should be able to grab at their fingertips in a moment and be able to have that. So I look forward
and
to going.
I would also say DMS providers out there, if you want to attend, come.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Everybody's welcome.
This
This is, like I say, this is totally transparent. It's out there. We're putting it on public platforms and everybody's welcome. So it's basically a public forum, and Michelle will be the sergeant at arms. So.
Okay. So fun fact. And I think I've told you this way back when, this is like squirrel. Those who know.
I recognized the excitement.
Yeah.
We got a squirrel coming. Yeah.
Okay. So, my oldest child is 33. Okay. My oldest child is 33. And, when I was pregnant with said oldest child, I was the bailiff for the Court of Appeals in Seattle.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so it's like, I did the call to order and, and it wasn't like regular courtroom, because it was usually attorneys and you might have, but so I know how to keep order, man.
Oh, nice. Good.
And I can even do that when I'm 8 months pregnant, but I'm not pregnant.
Yeah.
Right? But this is something that I have done. And, the whole gavel, the whole whatever thing.
I don't know how virtual gavels work, but you'll figure it out.
I'll figure it out. We'll make it fun. Maybe I'll wear a hat.
Oh, good.
Because I do enjoy that kind of stuff.
This is going to get interesting. Costumes. Yeah. Just stepping it up a notch.
Michelle also has a little bit of theatrics in her,
her
background as well. So, yes, we've just, started socializing this. It's going to be next Thursday, not this coming Thursday, the following Thursday. We'll do it in the morning. Let us know if you would like to do that, like have a second session or something like that in the evening, because we can do something in the evening to capture people that might not be able to attend in the morning. So we just are making sure. I am not going to wear a gun unless it's no.
She might.
Staple gun? I've got one of those. A dart gun.
Leslie Hastings mentioned Corey and Morrissey, and so, of course, very welcome in the conversation.
Yes.
So Corey's another
Yeah.
person who could absolutely confirm the things that I'm talking about. So
Yeah.
everybody's welcome. Like I say,
Everybody's welcome. Yeah,
everybody's-
we really want to be able to, and it is about, let's try to figure out how we can get the best reporting and get that standardized as best as we can, so that, it's also, as we really standardize those kinds of things, then we're able to compare dealerships apples to apples as well. And we're
Yeah.
able to look at things, and when you look at some of these different pieces, even in things like your 20 groups or whatever, that as we start to really dial into
That's
some of
true.
these
Those
pieces,
opportunities exist.
there's a lot more application than just within the dealership.
Sure.
Of where we can find value with that. So, all righty. Anything
Yeah,
else?
no, let's wrap up.
Okay.
If anybody needs a coupon code for Thursday,
Mhm.
just
Yep.
chime in there. If maybe you just say, I like the forum idea. If you want free access to the Thursday event, just say, I like the forum ID. I'll get you free
That's a
access.
big one. Okay. All right, everybody. We will see you on Wednesday. Jacob
Clementowski
is
from
going to be joining us
Florida.
from Florida, and hope you guys have a great Monday. We'll talk to you all later.
Thanks.
Thanks.